neighbors from the County of Jackson, the Director of Fleet and Facilities Operations, Rick Scheele, and the Project Manager and Maintenance Supervisor, Derek Eisele. Rick, Derek, good to see you both.
Hey, Bart.
You as well, Bart.
Great to have you here. I think it's pretty amazing. All the construction projects, the renovations, everything, you guys do in-house.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. I like to tell folks that not only can we build a building, but then we can maintain it as well.
Is that unusual that you're doing everything yourself?
Well, it's just what we do.
Oh, I think it creates an opportunity for creativity, Derek. You've got to create projects from scratch, and they often come just as line items in a budget.
Correct. We a lot of times we'll have a custom specific to the department maybe we're building for. If we furnish a suite out and do a build out, it's all dependent on their day-to-day operation, not exactly ours or an architect's. So we may do a custom design job on the fly because we know how to move that wall or where to snap the line, or we just do it a different operation. But
how much stuff does the county own?
Well, this is where it gets complicated, because you have a department like Parks, who has a tremendous number of buildings, all the little outbuildings in the different parks.
Yeah.
Or I think that's the toughest one. Fairgrounds has a bunch of different barns and buildings, but our main buildings, though, the courthouse, the Human Services Building, North Lawn Building, the Youth Center, the jails, the morgue.
all the Department of Transportation garages, along with their main campus, which has multiple buildings and garages and maintenance bays, and so there's plenty over there alone.
Wow, it's like running a resort. Well, today we're going to look at some of the projects that you guys have done, and you sent along some photos.
Sure.
Let's take a look. The Tower, Jackson County Tower Ballroom, I would say this is your proudest accomplishment.
It is. And it's one of those scenarios where I was new to the county in 2006, and I went into what was then the commission chambers and saw this very ornate patch up in the ceiling. There was a drop ceiling in there, but in the center was a portion of that original plaster ceiling.
All these cables are, this is holding the drop ceiling in place.
Yeah, 632 of those cables.
And they just pounded them into that ornate ceiling without regard for anything.
Right.
Wow.
And I talked to our department and asked them, guys, do you think if this is something that we can do? Can we restore this floor? And the only thing that we could not do in-house was the plaster repair.
Wow.
I had to hire that out from a firm in Grand Rapids.
These are pictures from the JSO Concert Aglow this past weekend.
Wow.
Which was unbelievable. People were just, the music was great, the room was, everything was just great, but here in little old Jackson, we have this unbelievable facility.
Yeah, and just like that custom marble floor was covered up with vinyl tiles and then carpet on top of that. It's just...
Derek, you did a lot of work, hands-on yourself, and you supervised a lot of it. Really, there's no blueprint for doing something like this.
No, and I give my hat off to Rick and his crew over the years that did that work before I got there. And the rest of the story actually goes when I started, they were talking about making that an event space and getting rid of the 3 departments we had up there. So the first job was to remodel and get ready a couple different floors and move some departments. So we built a treasurer suite right there at the tower, and we moved them, and then deeds and equalization were moved, and then our guys in-house again. The ceiling, back to that, they were up there on their backs on scaffolding with paintbrushes.
For
So
a
they had
long
plaster
time.
repaired, molded, repaired. He sent the guys to some plaster schools, just everything. It was very impressive. So my portion of it was when we got the tower empty, our in-house carpenter, Tony Bell, also actually took down what we had as existing bathrooms and reclaimed a lot of the outside of the bathrooms that we built. So when you're in there for that JSO event, you can see that the bump out is the new men's and women's ADA type bathrooms for events.
And it looks like
And he
it fits.
blended it right in.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that, so for that one we did mostly in-house, besides things like plumbing that you want to be licensed and insured for, protect your investment.
Nice job. Yeah, so you essentially did the ballroom twice. Once as offices and then as the ballroom.
Correct.
All right, let's see what else you guys have been working on. Roof.
This is a new concept that we've been doing with our existing roof systems. In the past, a roof like this would be totally removed. The debris would end up in a landfill, and then you'd put a new roof on it and go from there. In this case, what we now do is we rehabilitate the roof. This is a special coating that goes over the top of the existing roof. It doesn't matter if it's a rubber roof or a mastic roof. The stuff just goes on over the top of it, comes with a 20-year warranty.
What's this building?
That's the courthouse
Oh,
with our civil defense air raid siren up there. And then this roof was at the Human Services Building. Again, it's a different type of roof system, but yet that technique that we use just goes right on over the top of it. We don't have to demo the roof.
you're driving an ATV on a roof?
That's why I provided that picture. I thought nobody believes me when I say they're up there riding around, but that's how they get their material and debris around over the edge towards the dumpster. But I actually, the first time I ever saw that out at college when I was doing a job out there, and I was just no way. And so it's pretty cool. But with that much square footage up there, it's a little village. So those guys
It really
use
is.
the resources.
Is this an animal shelter?
This is. And this was a great project. When I started with the county, the animal shelter was at the end of Blackstone Street, right by the
Oh,
highway.
yeah. What a disaster.
Yeah. It was really bad. And the administration and commission at that time bought this building across from Lumen Christi, and it was the start. It was so much better than what we had, and yet there was still so much of a need to do more that we finally were able to add on to it and make the additions and make the improvements that we needed to have.
I was there for the ribbon cutting
Yep.
a couple months ago. You did. It's an amazing job.
Yeah, that was one of Derek's projects.
Nicely done. And
And with that one, because we discussed how we do a lot of in-house, and this one was not. At this time I was more of the owner's rep, project manager, and I dealt with R.W. Mercer on that, who used all local subs, but it was still an everyday occurrence that dealing with everybody out there for almost 2 years.
I think two things. You probably save money doing things yourself, and you probably have more pride from your team and the people that are working in these spaces, because it's theirs. Their people did it.
I'd say that's absolutely correct.
I would say so too. And we try really hard because we know we're not private. The private industry maybe gets nicer things sometimes, and we do the best with our budgets, but we try to help our family, we say. So if you're at the courthouse or the jail or human services, we try to come running and try to help out as best we can.
All right, well, I know, stay in touch and check in with you in a few months and see
Yeah.
where we are for 2024. But thanks for stopping in today and sharing some of the work of the past year.
Oh, thanks for having us, Bart.
Good to see you. Rick Scheele and Derek Eisele with the County of Jackson. We've got